Oh, my friends, I am so deeply thrilled and honored to invite you on what is for me the most important and most transformative pilgrimage that I have ever taken. Pilgrimage which realizes for me the dream of a lifetime to be able to be a friend to those who truly wish to experience the full magnificence and splendor and evolutionary, transformatory, transfiguring power of the Himalayas. And so, inviting you now to come with me to that part of the world that for thousands of years has been a living, birthing cauldron of enlightenment and transfiguration, inviting you to that glory that is grounded and has been grounded and will always be grounded in the ultimate sacred mountains of the East and perhaps of the world, the Himalayas. And the Himalayas have a very deep, special, personal meaning for me. And I'd love to share that meaning, and I will. But what I want this whole transmission of my heart to your heart to be about is about this question that must be the most serious question for you contemplating such a pilgrimage. And to me, that question is what, at this moment of the history of the world, why, why would I undergo a pilgrimage to the Himalayas and what would it give me? And why is it so potentially important? I'm going to answer that question in two linked ways. And the first is to share with you very directly what I believe is happening in the enormous and terrifying cauldron of transformation that is our contemporary exploding global dark night. What is happening, I believe, is that this is an ordained and terrible ordeal, a true, comprehensive global dark night that will not destroy humanity, but will give humanity the exactly necessary, impossible conditions to help it birth itself into another level of compassion and divine embodiment, to birth, in other words, the divine human. And this is not my vision alone. This is a vision that I have experienced, but it's a vision also that I have learned from the great evolutionary mystics of all traditions. And why this is important is this, I think. The ordeal of this time is so terrible already and is going to get worse. So, what is most important for all of us is to make the most radical, imaginable connection with that birthing energy that comes from the One to us at this moment to guide us forward. And the Himalayas, friends, the Himalayas are the placeless place, the living, vibrating temple, and have been for millennia, the living, vibrating temple of the birthing energies that, if we can align with them, will not only transfigure us, but lift the entire human race into another level of incarnate love, embodied love in action. Again, this is not my dream. This is the revelation that has been coming through in the depths of the mystical traditions and through great mystical evolutionary philosophers. And many of them, you won't be surprised to know, have been profoundly initiated in the Himalayas. So that's the reason, I believe, for those of you who really are beginning to understand that this is not just a series of terrible deaths that we are living through, but the beginning of something new in you and in humanity and in the world. For those of you who want to have that intuition made more adamantine and real and embodied and both transcendent and immanent, then going to the central cauldron of the birthing energies, the Himalayas, that would be an amazing gift to give yourself for the journey. And it's the reason why I have gone in the past. I was born in India, and in the Himalayas, I have again and again been taken forward into awe and humility and rapture and amazement at the majesty I'm gazing at and the majesty that is revealing itself as my own essential nature. I am not unique. Millions of people have experienced that in the Himalayas, and millions will, as long as they are there. Beyond all the religions, they have illumined signs of vibrating origin, transcendent and immanent, and birthing the new. The second way I'd love to share this vision with you, this is my dream wish for the pilgrimage that I'm inviting you to share with me and to play an unforgettable part in all of our illuminations. The second part of what I want to convey to you is how, for me, working with sacred journeys and with my dear friend Helen Tomai and people on the ground there, we've constructed for you a flowering set of initiations into the birth of your own divine human in the Himalayas. I varied the pronunciation because one is British and one is Sanskrit, and they both form parts of my own British Indian heritage. And although I could speak for a long time about each of the steps that we're going to take in order, you have the details available to you. And all I want to do here is to string for you the 5 essential diamonds of realization that this trip into the birthing cauldron is designed to offer you for your own amazing evolution. We arrive and we go immediately into the most intense possible shrine town of the Himalayas, Haridwar. Even Benares seems calm compared to the ecstatic, serene frenzy and profound abandoned ecstasy that you can experience in the crowds of sadhus and holy men in this small town on the Ganges with the Himalayas in the background. And the reason why we're going there is because the core truth that all of us need to align ourselves with more and more is that you cannot be born into your divine humanity, into your transcendent and immanent truth without unbelievably passionate devotion to the divine through whatever way you worship the divine. And Hardware, in its unspeakable intensity of rapture and gratitude and devotion, will be an invitation for all of us to take all of what we've experienced as love of God into a wholly new level, just as we enter the great mandala of the Himalayas. And the second diamond that I want to offer you and string around the neck of your soul through this trip is what we will do at the end of our trip to Haridwar. We will go to the samadhi of the woman in the 20th century who incarnated a whole life for millions and millions and millions of seekers all over India, the living divine mother, Ananda Mai. I have been profoundly changed in my inmost life by having the grace to meet her, not in the body, but in photograph in her ashram in Benares, and through the photographs of my great friend Richard Lanoy, and through the testimonies that he gave me of his 50-year friendship with her. Much more importantly, what's really important for us as we go into this great cauldron of birth is to dedicate ourselves in her presence, because she's in that tomb radiating light throughout the universe, to dedicate ourselves to the mother, the eternal mother, who is the great Shakti force of the transcendent that births the divine in all of us in a unified, potent, new creation. And after that, we will go to the third diamond that this trip will string around your neck. The town, the sacred town of the yogis, Rishikesh, Rishi, the town of the rishis, the yogis, the holy ones. For 2,000 years at least, Rishikesh has been the place where those who went to the Himalayas for their transfiguration were often schooled in ashrams or visited ashrams or created ashrams in the shadow, the light shadow of the Himalayas, to conserve and clarify and transmit the revelations that were coming from those who were in rapturous meditation in the eternal snows. And it's a place that has been visited by nearly all India's most transformatory mystics and still carries on, despite the madness of the modern world, the tradition of that amazing lineage that has always celebrated it and lived in it. So in Rishikesh, we will meet the sacred masculine heart mind that is able, through devotion and openness to the divine feminine, to begin to bring clarity to the revelation in beautiful holy yogas. And we will concentrate on the great and authentic tantric yoga that the mother is now bringing through with the father to birth us into our fullest identity. And then we will take a very strange but very important detour, because the fourth diamond is a trip to the most beautiful, most lonely, most intense game reserve in the Himalayas, the James Corbett Reserve, where we will be able, if we truly are graced, and I hope we will be, to see tigers in their authentic format, to see the living icons of the force that sustains the divine feminine. Durga rides on tigers, and tigers have a very deep mystical fusion with the evolutionary force, as many traditions know. Other animals also, and why this is so important is that this new birthing consciousness that is trying to come through is one that is unified in rapture and or with the whole creation, and one in which human beings realize the need that the ancient yogis in the Himalayas, which is to learn not just from your own realizations, but from a profound new kind of love and humility and rapturous communion with all of nature and all of creation. And in this time, as we take the inspiration of Haridwar and the Mother and Rishikesh into our beings, we will experience together great sacred practices that I have been taught in Africa and South America and also in India that will help us truly realize that extraordinary new relationship that we are invited to, that will be the flowering of so much unimaginable creativity. This is a vision that has been revealed to many evolutionary mystics in many traditions. One example you could have in front of you is St. Francis of Assisi, and there are others in all traditions of beings who are in love and in direct communion. And then the last one, but not the least, we will go to Bhimtal, this gorgeous little town with a serene landscape. But before that, we will have the fifth real jewel. And in the fifth real jewel, what we will do is spend 4 days together in a perfect, quiet hotel in Uttarakhand, surrounded by the mountains and with great pulsing river. And there, with everything that we have experienced and everything that we're sharing and everything that is arriving to us, we will enter into deep, sacred, tender, wild, holy practice that will unite the transcendent and the immanent in us, body and soul, heart and mind, to give us a taste in that birthing cauldron of this new embodied divine human being that is being born in us through this enormous crisis. There is so much more that I could share with you about the details of the trip. But what I wanted to do is to give you the vision of the great birth that is struggling under immense odds to be born in us and through this darkness, and invite you to become one of the adventurers and midwives of that birth in the birthing energies of the Himalayas. And what I wanted also to do is to give you this diagram, if you like, of these 5 linked diamonds that you could imagine as diamonds around your soul's evolution. That will be a source of meditation for you as you come to make the choice that answers the question, why at this time of the world's history and of my own evolution would I need and want to go on a pilgrimage to the Himalayas? Thank you so much.